Welcome to Indianapolis, Indiana, the home of the Indy 500. But not tonight. How about Monster Wars? But there's much more. How about unlimited dragster tractors? There's Quad Wars. I can't stand it. Mike, Scott, finish it up.
Steve Burns, you're exactly right. This is going to be one wild, wacky night at the RCA Dome here in Indianapolis. We've got monster trucks, and as you said, we got a whole lot more action coming up tonight here in this Dome Stadium. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Hogwood along with Scott Douglas. Welcome to Monster Jam. We're down to the semifinals in our monster truck action.
And we've got a great matchup. First, you've got the two upstarts. Gary Bauer shocking everybody in the Nightmare 2 out of Vienna, Ohio. He'll take on Gunslinger in the first semifinal matchup. Two Fords squaring off for a berth in the final. Then it's the two legends, Gravedigger to square off with Monster Patrol. And again, two Chevrolets battling to see who's going to take on a Ford in the final. If you like a Gordon Martin matchup in NASCAR, you're going to love the finals here. We know we're going to have a Chevy and a Ford.
It's going to be a great show tonight. We also got these unlimited dragster tractors, which can put on quite a show as well. Hang around. TNN's Motor Madness Monster Jam is ready to rock. We are in Indianapolis. Mike Hogwood and Scott Douglas along with Steve Burns. And it is jam-packed here, ready for some big-time monster truck action full on with the surprise, I think, here in this semifinals, Nightmare.
Gary Bauer out of Vienna, Ohio, has that Ford in the semifinals. He'll take on the other Ford in the semis. Gunslinger Scott Hartsock out of Oldsmar, Florida, trying to make it 2 in a row on Motor Madness. Remember, he won in San Antonio.
Gunslinger, as you see here, ready to go on this U-shaped track. If you weren't with us last week, it is really tough getting over some obstacles as you go down that straightaway. And then you just have to jump on that brake, try to rear steer it, get it turned around, and then punch the throttle and head for home.
Scott Hartsock has been one of the best doing it. We'll see how he can handle it against Gary Bauer. In this matchup of Fords, we know one thing. We're going to have a Ford and a Chevrolet in the finals. Which ones? We're about to determine that fact.
Now, in these Fords, you'd have to say again that Gunslinger is the favorite, but Nightmare has been running this track very well, and they're pretty even the front straightaway. Let's see how they take the turns. Nightmare does a pretty good job. But now, here come down the final straightaway. It is going to be Gunslinger. Gunslinger, your winner, but Nightmare gave him all he could handle.
It was just one bobble from Gary Bauer in Nightmare, and that's all it took. Gunslinger smooth all the way around. Scott Hartsock gets the win, but as you mentioned, Mike, you got to get Nightmare a tip of the hat. A great run by Bauer. As he came off the turn, though, he got kind of sideways, and that cost him. Here you can see they're basically even in the turn, but Bauer is a little bit off kilter. He's a little sideways. That's where Hartsock wins the race.
Very disappointed Gary Bauer. Has to be a little bit heartbroken to have made that mistake right there on the final straightaway. But let's go down to Steve Burns now, who's caught up with Gary Bauer, driver of Nightmare.
Tell us what happened.
Well, I tried too hard coming out of the corner, and I just wanted to give it all I had. And the engine had more than what I thought right out of the hole there. Like I said, the corner was the most critical part. And you know, here I slid right into the dumpster at the end, a safety barrier, and it just, you know, broke my steering there. But all the safety that we have here, you know, kept anybody from getting hurt or kept me from getting hurt, and minimal damage to the truck, and we'll be ready to go back.
How bad's the damage?
Not bad, just hydraulic cylinder, that's all.
So, a tough break for the driver of Nightmare. Now we're ready to go with Monster Patrol. Gravedigger.
Well, we get the full-on look at Monster Patrol and that winged machine getting ready to take on the icon, Dennis Anderson, and the Gravedigger out of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. He has looked very, very strong on these U-turn courses all year on Motor Madness, and you know he wants to go to victory lane.
Paul Schaefer and Monster Patrol has some other ideas in that 97 Chevy. Quite a contrast in the style of these bodies here. I love this 50 Chevy panel wagon. And Gravedigger is, and has become so famous all across the country.
Well, it's part of the mystique, and I think the way Dennis drives it is the other part, the reason it's become so popular. But certainly, over the last 5 years or so, Monster Patrol has probably gained the biggest following among new trucks on the circuit. So you're looking at two of the biggest and best on the circuit today.
And you can see those lights up on the top of Monster Patrol and the left of your screen. That's always a good way to identify that truck. And it is a Monster Patrol.
That huge wing, you'd think he was a sprint car, only a 10,000-pounder.
Exactly. We're ready to go here with the second of our semifinals. And a pretty good start for both of these trucks. They're dead even down the straightaway. Let's see how they take the turns. Monster Patrol, oh my. Gravedigger looks like he's going to go on to win. Monster Patrol had some problems in the turn.
Again, the turn decides it. Monster Patrol absolutely spun her out. And Paul had done a great job earlier against Boogie Van. I think he just wanted to go too hard knowing Dennis Anderson was in the other lane. He lost control just a bit in the turn, and it cost him. Dennis Anderson, as it seems to be always, on the ragged edge, but he gets the job done. Beautiful through the turns, and then he's able to hammer it. It's going to be Gravedigger and Gunslinger in a wild final.
That will be a great, great final. But it has been a fantastic semi here. The fans in Indy have loved it. We've got some quad wars coming up next. You've never seen this? Hang on. This is all-out war here in Indianapolis, and it's next.
Get ready for a double dose of four-wheeling, high-flying monster truck madness when the Monster Jam SummerSlam World Tour pulls into Terre Haute, Indiana at Hagerstown, Maryland, July 16th and 17th. Log on at pacemotorsports.com and get tickets today.
Let's catch you up on our Quad War point standings. Orlando continues to be the team to beat. Indianapolis and Houston battling here tonight. They are 5th and 6th in the standings. And big news for Houston. They have made a trade with Orlando and have obtained Orlando's star, P.J. Pyros. He rides tonight as the captain of Houston, the Gray Team.
This has had the Quad Wars world shaken up with Pyros now moving to the Houston team. Remember, he led Orlando to those early season victories that have put Orlando on top. But again, with P.J. Pyros comes a little bit of baggage. The rough driving, having trouble sometimes getting along with teammates. Orlando decided to go for chemistry. Houston said, we'll take a guy with this much talent.
The green is out, and it is Indianapolis in the green, Houston in the gray. Breaking out early on that quad, number 12, that is Bill Marsh of the Houston team, who is out in front early in this event. Bill Marsh is going to be the quad to beat, as this is just the first heat race here, but Bill Marsh awfully strong.
No doubt about it. That's what you call a hole shot. He exploded off the green, and they're going to have to try and reel him in. He is really building up a big lead. You see the battle is for second right now, as John Getz for Team Houston has now moved into the second spot. And again, Quad Wars is a team competition. What really matters is who finishes first, and you'll see Getz try almost to be a blocker and help his teammate out.
John Getz, number 70, but he is passed here. Then in the yellow shirt there was John Chambers, number 38. He's for Indianapolis, and Chambers has now moved into second place, sets his sights on number 12, Bill Marsh. Indianapolis trying to make a move here in this first heat.
Well, that was a great move by Chambers. Hails from Columbus, Indiana, just a little south of Indy. Sure got a lot of fans and a lot of friends and family in the crowd, and he would love to get to the front. They still have a long way to go to track down Bill Marsh. Look at that lead.
It's definitely, though, a home crowd here for Indianapolis, and they are all cheering on John Chambers, hoping he can get somewhere close to the front to challenge Bill Marsh in this first heat. These two are neck and neck in the point standings. That's what makes tonight's battle so big. The white flag is out. Can anybody catch Bill Marsh? Chambers has trouble. John Chambers, trying so desperately to get up there, has had problems and is stalled on the track.
It's all Houston now, as Marsh is just kind of taking an easy lap. P.J. Pyros in the number 1 quad is actually on the move. He's the one reeling his teammate in.
Watch P.J. here. P.J. doesn't like to finish second to anybody, including his teammate. Oh, my! He passes Marsh. P.J. Pyros, his first ride for Houston. Can he hang on and win and lead his team to victory? Checkers are out. Yes, it's going to be P.J. Pyros winning this first heat race.
Bill Marsh just got an education on what it's going to mean to have P.J. on your team. He's going to knock anybody out of the way to get the win, even a teammate. But again, all that matters for Houston is they pick up the points for first place.
Watch out for Houston tonight. They've got P.J. Pyros on their side. Indianapolis not happy. Coming up on Motor Madness, we've got the unlimited drag.
Monster Jam is coming July 19th, 20th, and 21st to West Lebanon, New York. Lebanon Valley Speedway is ground zero when the greatest quake makers on the planet tear it up with high-revving monster truck action. Just log on at pacemotorsports.com.
These unlimited dragster tractors go in a straight line, so you figure they're pretty easy to drive, right? No, they're not. You want to know how it works? Me too.
Everybody runs off a brake system. You want your front end off the ground at least a foot and a half, and you got to feather the brakes. That's why a lot of drivers are much different than another, and a good driver can get 5 or 10 feet more than another by feathering the brakes and just really knowing what his tractor's telling him to do.
Gear selection, tire speed, front end weight, the way you're going to drive the tractor off the starting line, it all kind of comes into play. If you can hook earlier in the class so they don't have a lot of time to do the track maintenance, I think hooking early in the class definitely helps you out.
The Dragster Tractor is one of the more popular events at our Monster Jam shows. You talk about raw power. Here it is. Bad habit.
5-engine combination. Just sorry, Mike, I'll tell you, it's so exciting to see all this power on one vehicle. Those 5 engines ready to go for Steve Klingenberg out of Holland, Michigan. And as we talked about in the How It Works segment, you want to be the first, second, or third because you get the cleanest track to pull on.
It looks like a pretty good run for Steve. Wow.
He takes it up to that 250 mark and beyond.
That's going to be interesting to see if someone can beat that. That's impressive. 255.31 for Steve Klingenberg.
The top 2 from this opening round of action get to come back in the pull-off and do it again. I'll tell you, they're going to have to go some to beat this pull by Klingenberg.
I think one of the keys, as you said, not only was the power here and was the clean track. Makes a little bit of a difference. And Steve Klingenberg, as you can see, with a great run, 255.31. Predator and Doug Downs is next. We heard from Doug just a moment ago, and he's certainly a favorite and someone who could pull in that 250 range.
Once again, it comes down to so much horsepower along with the other things they discussed and how it works, including how you have that weight getting on the throttle but not spinning the wheels. And this is a good-looking pull right here.
You saw the distance to beat. Doug Downs is coming awfully close to it. Let's see what the final measurement is. He's in that 250 range, I'm sure, but was it enough? No, it was not.
That's now the number to keep your eye on, though, at 250.49. If nobody can come and top him, he'll go into the pull-off against Klingenberg. 2 great pulls, though, to start the class.
As you take a look at it again, very, very strong for Predator. Doug Downs is out of Taylorville, Illinois. There's Kodiak. David Richardson is the driver. He's from Kentucky. And he's got quite a challenge in front of him now. The first 2 guys have really set a pace here.
You know, this Kodiak is one of the most famous vehicles in pulling. We've seen it for years and years now. Doug Richardson, the man using it. He's having a pretty good run right here. Not going to get to the 250 mark, though.
You can tell that's a little short. We'll see what the final measurement is, but it is, as you see there, it did not make the 250, 243.31. That's disappointing for David Richardson.
Not bad. I'll tell you what, it's a good run, but it's not enough to put her into the pull-off, and that's what everybody's shooting for right now. Klingenberg and Downs have the upper hand, but we've got more top guns coming after them.
And we got more Dragster Trackster action. It's coming up on TNN's Motor Madness. Stay with us.
Get ready for a double dose of four-wheeling, high-flying monster truck madness when the Monster Jam SummerSlam World Tour pulls into Terre Haute, Indiana at Hagerstown, Maryland, July 16th and 17th. Log on at pacemotorsports.com and get tickets today.
In our dragster tractors, Doug Downs is on the bubble. Don't know what that means. Here's our jargon jam.
On the bubble, on the bubble. That would probably be you're the second place hook. They always bring two guys back for the pull-off if you're on the bubble. Somebody goes farther than you, you've been bumped. You're not coming back for the second round.
They're going to bring back the top two based on the furthest distance. So, like if you are one or two, I mean, you're on the bubble because somebody at the later in the class can come up and get a further distance. Number two is going to be out.
Floating finish line, that's the maximum safe distance they'll let you run indoors.
You just go as far as you can go until the red flags you.
Basically, the top two tractors, you're just going to leave the throttle down as far as you can until she burns out on the ground. I mean, you're going to have to give it everything you got.
There's a tractor would like to pull enough to get up on the bubble. Judy Knipstein out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. We'll see what Knipstein can do here in this tractor.
You know, over the years, there have been several top female competitors in various divisions of pulling, and Judy has been able to hang among the leaders in the unlimited dragster tractors, the biggest and baddest of them all.
Knipstein liable to have a conniption about that run.
No,
217.75, not good enough.
Nowhere close. Nowhere close to knocking Downs off the bubble. So Doug has one more big bullet to try and dodge here in a moment. But first, can't spot anything really wrong with Judy's run. The wheels come up pretty nice. She's not too high. There's a little bit of extra height there, but she looks in good shape. Just not enough power. Maybe the track may be going away just a little bit.
Next up, we have a guy who, there's a shot of Judy, who is a little disappointed in what her run was. Next up, we have a guy who has a chance. Brett Berg, Arctic Cat Generators. He has done it before.
Now remember, he's got to get to that 250 mark to make it into the pull-off. 255 is your leader. Oh, a little short. Man, I thought he might have a shot, but just it bogged down on him at the end. He didn't quite have enough to reach the 250 mark. It's going to be 240 and change. Actually 237, not quite to the 240 mark, but not enough to make it into the pull-off. So it's going to be Bad Habit and Predator who end up going to the pull-off. They were the first two we looked at. They'll come back and have to do it again for the championship.
Well, there you see it. Steve Klingenberg and Doug Downs will be in our pull-off in just a little while here in Indianapolis. Coming up, we've got heat number 2 of those flying quads. Indianapolis and Houston are set to do battle. Time for another United States Hot Rod Association update. We take you to Anaheim, California. This monster was running pretty strong.
Bounty Hunter, one of the West Coast-based monsters that has a great chance anywhere he goes. But Bulldozer, this team has been red hot out of the chute in 1999. And I'll tell you, you want to keep a watch on Bulldozer into the millennium, putting together one of the best teams of hot new drivers we've seen in a long time.
And as always, Gravedigger was there putting on a show as well and getting up and doing a little two-wheeling.
Well, when you talk about teams, these guys have it all. Pablo Huffaker here behind the wheel of Gravedigger and putting on a show for the Anaheim fans.
Back to our quad wars now. Heat 2, Indianapolis and Houston. Houston won, Heat 1. Indianapolis is really going to be digging here in this second heat, trying to get going. They need a win. Green flag is out, and it is a desperation to try to get that hole shot.
I think we can safely say nobody got the whole shot that time. It's tight at the front right now. Both teams represented well, and we've already got a crash. Can't pick up the numbers. Well, wait a minute, gentlemen. Let's keep this all nice and calm and just separate the bikes. They were trying to separate each other.
Those quads were
Pyros is one of them. That's the problem.
And it was also Richie Tompkins, the captain of Indianapolis as well. Meanwhile, Michael Snudden is out in front. He is racing for Indianapolis.
That's Damon Gerald, number 25 for Houston, who just made the move into the lead. What's interesting here, Mike, is both these teams kind of look to their captains to try to carry the pace out front. Both captains are at the back of the pack after crashing each other. This is really wide open. Snudden trying to hang on.
Yeah, Snudden just took the lead again. He is really riding desperately because he knows that he needs to win to get Indianapolis there. And you see the dicing back and forth to 25 of Damon Gerald. Damon Gerald has put Houston back in the lead. Snudden is riding second. Winning is all that matters in these quad wars. And so it is a really desperate time up front for each of these guys. Watch him get the inside. Snudden does as he tries to take the lead, but Gerald will have none of it.
It's that inside line that's critical in the turns, and that is what Snudden is trying to exploit, but he's having trouble. One of the reasons is because he's got all those gray shirts around him. Note that Snudden's up there, but everybody else battling for the lead's wearing a gray shirt. Houston's got a great advantage here in manpower, but Snudden's riding a great race.
White flag is out. This is the final lap. Snudden is out in front. The question is, can he hold on?
No.
And he does not. The lead goes back to Houston. Gerald takes it away from him.
Watch this final turn, though. See if he can get that inside line back. That's where Snudden has made his move every time. Although Gerald's in control, he's setting up for it right now. He is inside of him, and I think he's got it.
That inside line is the way to go. Snudden is taking the lead. Listen, you can hear the roar of the Indianapolis fans. They love it. There's a chance that their team is going to win this second heat. Snudden, can he hold on? Yes! Michael Snudden has won heat number 2. Indianapolis has evened things up with Houston here in the RCA Dome.
Very popular win among the Hoosiers here in the Dome tonight. And Mike Snudden able to really step up when teammate Richie Tompkins got in the early wreck.
We will have more of these unlimited dragsters. The pull-off is coming up. Hang with us on the chip.
Well, you've got all this horsepower on the front of these unlimited dragsters, but you got to get the power to the ground. How do you do it? Well, I'm not really sure, but I know one thing. If you ain't running an Allison, brother, you're wearing a dress.
We have 4 big block Chevys.
With ultimate horsepower,
When the tractor really hooks up,
you better go just as far as you can go and hope you get really close to the wall.
really tremendous track.
Well, that's the name of the game. You can have unlimited horsepower, but if you can't get the power to the track, you can't get it locked to the track. And again, that relates back, I think, to your tire pressure. Sometimes with ultimate horsepower, that's not really good on the line. If you just spin your tires and you go no place.
You want to have the front end balance so it's off the ground, so you have all the weight transfer to the rear tires. Try and hooking the rear tires up to a certain extent, leaving the starting line, which is very hard when you're talking tire speed in excess of 100 miles an hour.
Some drivers, you might feel it in the first. It's called driving by the seat of your pants. When the tractor really hooks up, it pulls on you, and the driver knows when to give it to full throttle and expect the most out of his tractor and the most footage.
And it is time now for the pull-off. You're looking Steve Klingenberg and bad habit right there. See what he can do. Had a strong run. Of course, his first time down this track.
He was at 255. Klingenberg actually had the best first-round run, but all that did was qualify him for the pull-off. He's got to do it again. One of the advantages, again, everybody likes to go first. They feel like, the pullers feel like you've got a better track the earlier you go. Klingenberg goes first here.
Steve Klingenberg.
Another good pull. That's outstanding.
You see him throw his fist in the air. He knew that he had another strong run. Steve Klingenberg, the crowd loves it here. Again, over 255 feet. What a run.
That's phenomenal when you consider that there have been 10 other pulls here. It is just tough to keep that track in pristine condition. Didn't matter to Klingenberg. He still went 255. And boy, Downs has got to be looking and say, what do I got to do to beat this guy?
Yeah, Doug Downs and Predator. As you can see, those engines getting ready to roar.
He's got to have a perfect shot to beat 255. Let's watch it. Close, but not quite enough. Could not get it past that 250 mark. Again, you show that because obviously the track kept its consistency because Downs also got 251, but not enough to beat Steve Klingenberg at Bad Habit.
251.18 for Doug Downs, but it is Bad Habit and Steve Klingenberg, winner here in our pull-off.
Well, Steve, the Bad Habit was good tonight.
Yeah, I hate to say it, we're building a new tractor. 4 more passes, this one's getting cut up. I don't believe I'm doing it, but I need a new one. The next one's going to be a lot better. Bigger motors, everything else. We need it to continue in the sport, to be in the top. This one proved it to me tonight. It's still there. I can just get a little more money for it when I want to sell it.
Yeah, congratulations to Steve Klingenberg. Coming up, we've got the quad finals. And hey, how about our finals in monster trucks? That's still to come here on TNN Motor Madness Monster Jam.
Monster Jam is coming July 19th, 20th, and 21st to West Lebanon, New York. Lebanon Valley Speedway is ground zero when the greatest quake makers on the planet tear it up with high-revving monster truck action. Just log on at pacemotorsports.com.
And we're getting ready for heat number 3 of our Quad Wars. Scott, let's catch everybody up on what happened in the heats before. In heat 1, if you remember, we just had a big runaway when that number 12 right there. That was
Bill Marsh getting a great start, yeah. But it was Pyros, if you'll remember, who came up and got the win.
Right.
And PJ, I guess, showing his teammate, yeah, you can run out front, but I won't take anybody out to get to the win if it gets necessary. And here, PJ took out Richie Tompkins, the captain for Team Indianapolis.
And so the stage is set. Michael Snudden had that big victory for Indianapolis. We're all even here. And this is where it really is going to get intense in this third heat. And both these captains, I think, are going to want to get this hole shot. And we have quite a start. Well, it is always a big fight to get out in front first.
Well, they're all over the place. Now they've got to bottleneck it down, thinning it out as we're in the third and final or championship heat, if you will. And getting off to a really good start is Richie Tompkins leading Indianapolis out front early.
Richie Tompkins, who's the captain of the Indianapolis team. Closest to Houston behind him, you will see there, it is Dan Daniels. Daniels is in the other number 1 for the Houston team, not the captain, P.J. Pyros, who's still bottlenecked back up in the back a little bit.
As you're watching at home, though, it's more like an 11. That's how you can tell the difference on the numbers as they come by. Daniels trying to track down Richie Tompkins in this early battle in the third and final championship heat of Quad Wars. Pace Motorsports, I'll tell you, whenever you see the Pace Motorsports Quad Wars, you know you're going to see high-flying, wild, crazy action, and Daniels has just made the move to grab the lead.
Well, Daniels is out in front. Daniels riding for Houston, trying to give the visiting team a win. We said in this sport, it is always difficult to win on the road. These guys are side by side, heading into the turn. Well, they are fighting for it. Tompkins desperate to get out in front, and he does. Richie Tompkins, the captain of the Indianapolis team, in the green shirt. The gray shirt there is Dan Daniels. They are both battling for the lead, and hanging back there in third is one P.J. Pyros. Don't count him out, not by any means, especially now that the white flag is flying. Here comes Pyros. Let's watch him. He's back in third, but he's going to be tough.
Tompkins has got to watch out. He's going to get in a position where he can get blocked and double teamed here because Pyros and Daniels have him surrounded. He's got to make a smart move here, and he gets the lead back. But
that
Pyros didn't give it up.
It was a great move. But Pyros on the inside. Oh, my!
Absolutely ran him off the course.
He turned those wheels left. Tompkins looks like he's hurt his arm a bit. P.J. Pyros really ran him off the course. Yellow is out, so is the checkered, and P.J. Pyros in a very unpopular win here in Indianapolis. He ran the Indy captain off the course and took his quad onto a victory.
That's why we said earlier he comes with baggage, and they're checking on Richie Tompkins right now. As good as Pyros is, it's moves like that that cause sometimes more trouble than it's worth. That's why he's no longer in Orlando. He got traded to Houston, but I know Houston likes having the win here. And he is, I'll tell you, this is not a time to hot dog it up when a guy's laying there hurt, though. You can't like this, Mike.
The crowd here is really upset at what has happened. to their captain, a guy that, you know, everybody here in Indianapolis in this arena respects, Richie Tompkins, what he's accomplished for this Indianapolis team. And he's, oh, my. Oh, he is upset.
Well, the U.S. hot rod officials are trying to get in there quick. These guys, no love lost, as we talked about. They're wanting to settle this thing off the quads right now.
And listen to the crowd roaring its approval as the Indy captain, Richie Tompkins, tries to settle the score a bit with one P.J. Pyros.
Well, P.J. looks like he's ready for a little more here.
As we said before, P.J. Pyros has done this before. Let's go to Steve Burns.
You said there was bad blood. What happened, man?
I don't know. I'm here to win. That's all I'm here to do. I'm a hired gun, and I'll do whatever it takes to win.
Wow, that's the word from P.J. Pyros. Makes no bones about it. Win at all costs. We're going to have a grudge match between these two teams. We'll do it next. Time for another U.S. off-road update. Let's get to it.
El Paso, Texas, with the Pro Quads, and right off the bat, Tim Farr battling for the championship once again, having a great run throughout, and he comes away as the winner in Pro Quads competition. That gives him now a 23-point lead in the U.S. Off-Road Championship standings. Also, the Thunder Bikes in El Paso, great competition right off the bat. They diced throughout the night as the lead changed hands at least 7 times throughout the competition. But when it came down to the final, and they got to the final lap on this huge course in El Paso, Texas, Chris Knox battling for the lead at the end. Coming across the finish line, though, Scott Myers got him on the final lap. Myers gets the victory. Knox, though, still has the lead by some 15 points over Chris Ridgway.
Back in Indianapolis, we're going to have a grudge match. Richie Tompkins has challenged P.J. Pyros to a grudge match, and Pyros has accepted.
And this is going to settle it. This is going to determine who wins and gets the championship points today. That was the agreement. So this is key. One-on-one now.
It's going to settle it between these two, too. And Pyros on the outside trying to hold it. He has the early lead over Richie Tompkins, who got spun out, taken off the course in the final heat by Pyros. But this crowd is on its feet here as Tompkins tries to negotiate back out in front. Hey, he's not going to, he might try to take him out as well. White flag out.
You know, it's as much body blocking right now and trying to get in front of your guy or move him or bang if you have to. And here they are. They've locked wheels.
They have locked up. They have locked their bikes together. Tompkins was going to have nothing of P.J. trying to run into him. Oh, he's up and off the quad.
But Pyros can't get free either. This is crazy. Technically, the green is still out. They're ready to go. And there goes Pyros. He broke away first.
And Tompkins was facing in the wrong direction. That's going to kill him.
Oh, and his bike stalled.
Now his bike stalled.
Oh, goodness.
So P.J. Pyros will come around and win, and it'll be very unpopular.
Oh, I guarantee that. Oh, look at it. Look at the hot dog. Oh, he's waving at him. Tompkins, I bet he's ready to gnaw the handlebars off that thing right now. Pyros is just coasting.
If you didn't catch it earlier, P.J. Pyros was a superstar for Orlando.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
Pyros is stalled.
Been traded here to Houston. Now he's stalled.
Can you believe this?
And Richie Tompkins has got his quad fired up. He's rolling.
He's still a half lap behind him. Pyros is pushing his quad. Pyros is going to try and push his quad past the finish line. That's all it'll take. Tompkins still has almost a half lap to catch up. Here he comes, though.
Can he make it over?
He did not get to the checkered.
No! Richie Tompkins has done it. The crowd is on its feet, going nuts here at the RCA Dome. They love the comeback. Richie Tompkins never gave up. He never quit, even when his quad stalled. He got it started, came back, and he's got the checkers in his hands. What an emotional moment here in the RCA Dome.
Unbelievable finish. He literally flew over the top. Let's go down to Steve Burns for all the emotion.
Richie, you got revenge. What a battle.
Yeah, it was a battle. The fans stayed behind me the whole way.
Look out, look out.
Pal, I'll get you next time. Look at this. Thank you, Indy. Woo!
Very popular win here, the homestanding Indy team of victors. Now it's time for the Monster Truck Finals. We are ready. Gravedigger going up against Gunslinger. It is not going to be easy for either truck in this track very, very well. For a preview, let's get down now to Steve Burns.
All right, guys, well, we're down to it. Tell us about it now.
You know, I'm telling you, we're just taking this thing one round at a time. Here we are in the finals. Can't say enough for this mega-powered Ford Gunslinger. We've been putting down some awesome passes. We've been coming in this corner here just like gangbusters. Truck's been working good. Can't say enough for the old coilover truck. Man, we've been coming in here putting on a hell of a show for TNN Motorsports, Pace Motorsports, everybody here.
Well, Dennis, we're down to it. Are you in good shape? How do you feel?
Yeah, I'll tell you that pass that I just made was probably the best one that I made all night. Pretty smooth turn. I think it's going to be me and Gunslinger in the finals. Scott's got a short wheelbase. He's cutting this track tight. He's doing a good job. We got to go over here and battle about the lanes right now. If he gets his lane, he'll probably win. But we'll see. We've got another little malfunction with the digger. We got a pinion support bearing retainer that's broke in it, which it was broke this round right here. And the crew guys, they're checking it out. And I told them, hey, we'll run it. So it'll be a wing and a prayer. Maybe it'll go, maybe it'll blow. Who knows? But we cannot stop and fix it now. There's not enough time to replace the differential in it. So we're just going to cross our fingers, hope for the best, and, hey, we'll either make history or be history.
All right, well, we'll see. There's a little problem on Gravedigger. Dennis Anderson did not sound all that confident about this final run.
Well, he knows he's got a truck that needs repair. He also knows he can still get a lot out of it. But, you know, the talk about the lanes, Scott Hartsock has been staying in the same lane all night. He's run it beautifully. That's where he was talking about going over and battling. And, indeed, Gunslinger will come out and have the same lane he's had all night. So this is a great advantage for Hartsock.
We'll see if it pays off. We're ready to go with the Monster Truck Finals. You look at Gravedigger, Dennis Anderson, 17 years of doing this. Many would argue that he is the very best at it. Scott Hartsock, who has run this track so well tonight, and Gunslinger.
In Indianapolis to determine the champion. We've got it down to these two as we head for St. Louis. You know that $100,000 Pace Motorsports Championship Point Fund gets divided up at the end of the year, and a lot of it has to do with what will happen as we go to St. Louis. Got the word now that 16 monster trucks will be in St. Louis along with our cameras on April the 3rd.
It's going to be a great night. This is a great night here at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. The crowd is ready. We are ready. We wait for everything to get set for the green flag to fall on the Monster Truck Finals in this great monster truck racing we've had here tonight.
Again, experience, if that's the factor, Gravedigger should be the man. And, you know, we're still trying to find out what happened to that old championship flag that he and Gary Porter used to trade back and forth. That story won't go away either. But now we got a green flag.
We do have the green flag, and Gravedigger takes the early lead, but coming into the turn. Oh! Digger goes on two wheels! Gravedigger has turned on its side. Dennis Anderson, in an effort to put a little extra oomph into it, turned it on its side. Gunslinger's our winner. Dennis Anderson looks to be okay, but a tough break for the Gravedigger.
He said he was going to make history or be history, and in this final, he was history.
Yeah, he was.
How about Scott Hartsock? The Gunslinger has now won 2 in a row, but let's watch on the replay. He just gets in. You know the truck wasn't 100% anyway. He's trying to get more out of it than it's got, and once it gets up too far, there's no way to save it. Over it goes.
Well, let's go into the in-truck, and we'll see what happens. You can see it there. What a great view that was from the camera. And now sideways. Our winner is Gunslinger Scott Hartsock. Let's catch up with him now. Steve Burns is down in the arena.
Boy, you were strong all night long, and you didn't let him down in the finals.
Hey, that's right. We came in here. You can call me lucky. You can call me happy or whatever. All we know is we took this win. This is 2 in a row for us. We come out here cock-locked and ready to rock, you know. Seems like we got a motor problem here. You know, it went dead on us there after the cars. But, hey, you know, this old Mega Power Ford did its job tonight. We brought these big guns in here, and we came out the victor.
cocked, locked, and ready to rock works for me. Congratulations.
You got it. Thanks, DNN Motorsports, Pace, United States Hot Rod, everybody here. Everybody's been a great people. Everybody at home, thanks.
Well, congratulations to Scott Hartsock, who gets a friendly handshake there from Dennis Anderson. Here's our Maalox Bennett, no doubt about it. It was Digger.
I wonder where we're going with this. Gravedigger in the finals as you get a look at probably a place you'll never see a monster truck from again. What a great shot our crew has been able to put together for you as he goes up on his side and over on his lid.
We had to pay that cameraman an extra amount of money, I think. You know?
Great job he did.
Let's go to Steve now. He's with Dennis.
Well, Dennis, you said before the last round, the final run, final pass, that you may have had a problem. Did that hurt you in the last pass?
No, I don't think so. We had a pinion problem, but coming into the turn, I think I just got off of everything too much. Let it come to a little slide there, and it just built up some under the wheel, flipped over. I won the lane choice between Scott. I figured, hell, I stood a chance then. Scott's cutting those corners good with a little short wheelbase truck, but hey, when I come in there and dumped her over, it was all over but the old Gravedigger screaming then, you know.
Did you push it too hard knowing that you said he was really cutting the corners tight? Did you push it too hard?
I don't think so. I don't think I ran any harder than I've been running as far as coming down the straightaway. I may have ducked into the turn just a little bit harder. I just think I got out of sync. I never got a rhythm down all night anyway.
Yeah, there's not much left of the old Gravedigger right now.
No, it's not. It's not too bad, though. We'll get it ready. We got another big meet next weekend, and Scott will be there. Hopefully it'll be me and him in the finals, and I'll put him in his place, hopefully.
Great show.
Thanks a lot.
Congrats to Dennis Anderson for a strong run. Well, let's go down for one final thought now from Steve Burns.
Well, Scott Hartsock in the Gunslinger. Boy, he was loaded for bear tonight, and he wins again here in 1999. Next week, I don't know. How can you top this week's show? Next week, I see Pro Stadium action. I see some monster truck action. But one thing we know for sure, it's going to be good. I want to thank Dan Moriarty for letting me fill in. And as usual, I want to thank Scott Douglas and the Hog Daddy, Mike Hogwood.
Thank you, Steve. We'll be back in New Orleans next week. It'll be fun. For Scott Douglas and Steve Burns, I'm Mike Hogwood. Thanks for joining us on Monster Jam.